And here we go.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Mike from the Super Wheeler Bros, and welcome back to another review of Season 4 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This time we're going to be taking a look at the finale of the LMD pod of the show, Episode 15, entitled Self-Control. So let's get into it. Bravo. That's really all I have to say that can really give you an indication in a short amount of time is bravo and clap my hands, because this is by far the best season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think I've said that multiple times this year already, but this episode is the culmination of all of that hard work. It was spectacular. It was amazing. I'm blown away by just how good this episode was. It was directed by Jed Whedon. So yes, Joss Whedon's brother. He did an excellent job directing this week's episode. This episode really had everything, and it was emotional on so many levels. But what I loved about it was, in previous episodes, just the setup made this episode so much more appealing and so much more enthralling. And that's what really amazes me about this year's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because you really get a sense that they finally get it. They've got a superhero show. They've got a spy show. They've got drama. They've got all these blended elements, and it's just making it fire on all cylinders. This is the most invested I've been in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., surely, but not only that, in pretty much anything that the MCU has brought out to date. The only instances I can think to where I was even more invested was maybe Iron Man 1 and in the last two movies in the Cap series, Civil War and Winter Soldier. And even those, it really is a challenge. That's how good this episode was, and that's how good this season has set up to end. And like I said, I'm just blown away by it. The first thing that really stuck with me was when Fitz and Simmons get to be alone after they isolate themselves in order to not get caught by the LMDs that have infiltrated their base. That would be, as to our knowledge, Coulson, Mac, Daisy, and Mace. Well, one of them actually fire the LMD trigger, and it seems that one of them is not telling the truth. One of them is actually an LMD, and their exchange is so good. It was emotional, it was funny, it just made everything work for the rest of the episode, and I just loved that. Oh man, the reveal that it was LMD Fitz, which means there's somebody else who's not an LMD, we'll get to that in a moment, but the reveal that it was Fitz that was the LMD who had been replaced was awesome and heartbreaking at the same time for Gemma. Ian DeCasticker and Elizabeth Henstridge, they have fantastic chemistry together, and I loved that setup. The quick turn that it made, oh man, it was just great. And the way that Simmons escapes from Fitz, from LMD Fitz that is, was great. And I just loved that emotional charge that it gave you right in the middle of that episode. And the reveal that it was actually Daisy who was not taken over instead of Fitz being the LMD was an awesome misdirection that they did last episode. And it was really great that it played out here. I didn't see it coming because I didn't know how they were going to really do that. It was clearly obvious that she had been replaced if she had tried to use her inhuman powers. There's no way that she could do that, obviously. So it was a great little nugget. And when she found out that they were bringing all the Inhumans in, and she goes downstairs to see a bunch of Quakes, she's definitely picked up on everything, and Mac, LMD Mac, was supposed to execute all of the Inhumans. And that way, they would have control of everything, because they realized that the Inhumans are a huge threat. Well, Daisy put the nix on that, and when her and Simmons meet up, it's awesome. The exchange between them is really intense. It is really heartfelt, and I love the way that they discovered it, where Daisy just grabs her and quakes her so that they know that they are each other's only allies at this point. And the subsequent fight that Daisy does with Mace, LMD Mace, was awesome. The stunts were great. The quake effects were great. I really enjoyed that. And the best scene in the show by far, or sorry, the coolest scene in the episode by far, was the energy force field that Daisy was able to make in her hands, to where she defended herself after being shot twice against LMD Coulson and LMD Mac. That disintegrated Mac and it disabled Coulson. It was awesome. The effect was great. The setup was great. The tension was great. I can't say enough awesome things about this episode, truly, truly. The true showcase of the episode, however, was LMD May. Ming-Na Wen is a fantastic actress, and they have really, only now that she had become a robot, been able to really kind of illuminate just how good she is as an actress, and her skills are on full display right here. The exchange that she had with LMD Coulson after he questions her because she let Daisy and Simmons go through so that they could get to the Zephyr was awesome. It explained everything about what it means to be a human and how much she longed for that interaction, and just her programming was more human and more fluid, and just really really relaying that information to the audience, just how no matter what, as a robot, as an LMD, as a life model decoy, they can't feel the same. And that's reiterated later with Ada. And I just wanted, oh man, I wanted more of that interaction. It was so good. And it looks like we've got our base blown to smithereens, which was really unexpected. I didn't see that coming. Man, it just was an emotional powerhouse episode. And we can't go on to the finale of the episode without speaking about Ada. The scene where she basically executes Dr. Radcliffe was, whoa. Didn't see that coming whatsoever, but now she's able to fully realize her destiny because she was able to realize that she's not bound by these constraints anymore because Radcliffe is out of the picture. And that's because he created a paradoxical mandate for Ada. She slit his wrists and put him into the framework so that he wouldn't have to feel the pain, but his body's going to give out, so he's definitely done for. And I just didn't see that coming. And then to see Ivanov walking around after she basically was going to gut him after all of the things he had been through in the fight with Daisy in the previous episode was also kind of crazy. And lo and behold, she created herself in her own LMD with the Darkhold because the guy's brain is in there, so he's able to think and feel like a human, which is what she longs for. And he's going to be an unbelievable weapon because he knows how to do everything that Ivanov did, the superior, but is in a much superior form. That's some crazy stuff. It can sound convoluted when you really are only listening to my explanation of everything, but it's so engrossing and it's amazing the strides that this show has made. I can't really even comprehend where it went from the first season all the way to where it is now. It's truly phenomenal. I don't even have a way to put it into words, really. It's awesome. The setup for what's to come, which we won't get to see until April, is awesome, and I really cannot wait. Gemma and Daisy have to go into the framework to try and rescue their friends. So we're going to get an alternate reality piece, it looks like, for the final pod here of the season. And that opens up all kinds of interesting possibilities. I have heard on the internet that there are some grumblings about bringing back a certain character. And I think it goes without saying that in my TV reviews that there's definitely spoilers, but this is a major reveal. So if you haven't seen the episode, definitely click away and then come back after you have watched the episode. But when Daisy awakens in the framework, she gets to see her boyfriend. And she thinks it's Lincoln, but it is none other than Brett Dalton as Grant Ward. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't know. I really liked him after they got him out of the doldrums that he was in, buddy. I tell you what, The first like 15 or 16 episodes of the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he was not interesting at all. And then they made him extremely interesting as a villain and reinvigorated that character. And then last year we finally said goodbye, but apparently not. Ward is dead, but now he's back. So we'll see how that plays out. It's definitely going to be interesting. The alternate reality also had Simmons' gravestone, so she's dead. How in the hell is she plugging into the framework if she's not alive? That's an interesting take. Coulson is now a teacher, teaching about the threat of Inhumans. We'll see how that plays out. May is standing at the Triskelion, and the final reveal there is that it has been taken over by Hydra. So there was no repelling of the Hydra attack in this alternate reality. And that poses a lot of intriguing questions. And finally, Mac didn't lose his daughter. He shows up outside of his home picking up his daughter's bike. So there is a host of questions and a host of interesting things yet to happen on the show this year. And I am so freaking excited for where it's going to go. I'm so glad that it got to this point. I didn't know that it was going to get to this point based on the track record we've had from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But this season, it's just been excellent. I'm still taken aback by just how good this episode was, and I can't say it enough. For this week's episode of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Self-Control, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. This truly was the best episode of the series to date, and it really was a perfect experience, and I am extremely invested in this story that they're telling now, and I don't think I've ever been this invested in any of the Marvel shows yet, and that includes Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage so far, and I love those shows. That's just how good this episode and this season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been. Tell me what you think of this season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the comments below, and more specifically this episode. Did you feel the way that I did about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you somewhere in between? Let me know. If you enjoyed this review and you want to see more, definitely hit that subscribe button. More coming at you in the near future. My name is Mike from the Super Wheeler Bros, and as always, my friends, have yourselves a super week.